stepping stone we can make without the dua and blessing of our parents. And if there is a dua and blessing of our parents, if our parents are pleased with us, trust the word of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the achievement and outstanding results guarantees in your life. So always make sure, my youngsters, love your parents. Keep them on your side. Where you fail to please them, you lost. It's not from my side. It's the word from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated it very clearly about those people who fail to respect their parents, their mom and dad. My lovely children, Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. They are the true losers. They lose in this world and in the next two worlds. And we can see that all the Anbiya Kiram, the prophets of Allah, all the Anbiya Kiram, when we try to learn about them, we'll see, say for example, Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, he made dua, Rabbi ghfirli wa liwalidayya. My Lord, forgive me and forgive my parents. Sayyidina Yahya alayhi salam, in Surah Maryam, Allah talks about him, وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَيْهِ. Something very distinctive, very special about Yahya alayhi salam was, the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights in the Quran, he was so kind and caring for his parents. And he was never rude to them. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ جَبَّارًا عَصِيًّا. And then further on in Surah Maryam itself, Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, he proudly declares, happily declares and says that, وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَتِي. And what is so special about me, Isa alayhi salam says that in the Quran, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quotes, وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَتِي. I am proud that I'm happy that I care for my mom. I'm very attached to my mom. The prophets of Allah, they highlight on this proud moment, happy moment of being attached to their parents, caring for their mom and dad. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, we know that he had gone through some very difficult time with his parents. His Azar told him that if you don't stop calling people to Allah, I'm going to stone you. You leave me alone. Reached to such a terrible state. Yet Ibrahim alayhi salam prayed for his parents. Like this, subhanallah, when we study about the Anbiya Kiram, we will see that their practice, their character was about respecting and caring for their parents. This is what we need. My lovely children, youngsters especially, if our parents are happy with us, ridallahi fi ridal walidain. The pleasure of Allah depends on the pleasure of your parents. وَسَخَطُ fi سَخَطُ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. Habibuna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us, the anger of, wrath of Allah, the anger of Allah, it is the anger of your parents. When your parents are angry with you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry with you as well. So always, every time you try to influence your parents, to make them happy, my believers, beautiful teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says that you meet your brother, your sister, you meet them with a pleasant face. But I can tell you, if that is rewarding, if it's a sadaqah, meeting your mom, your dad, your parents with pleasant face, it is compulsory. We're not allowed to frown our faces at our parents. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to show any unpleasant mood or unpleasant face to our parents, or to say a word that can be unpleasant or not pleasing our parents. Quran has used a word to tell us never use, that is uff. Now, if there is a word that is this word uff, my believers, it is, the word just to uff is not worse than sometimes what we say to our parents. It's not that bad. Yet the Quran says, don't even say uff to your parents. Even that small unpleasant word to your parents, don't do that. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا, and do not chase them out. In today's materialist world, in this world, in this time, in this dunya, my dear believers, failure is because we are not much interested in respecting our parents. We make our parents angry with us. Subhanallah. Habibuna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, he tells his companions, he tells them, especially Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu was around, right next to him. And he said to them, O Sahaba, there is a man yet to come from Yemen. He would love to meet me. He is such a wonderful man. His name is Uwais al-Qarni. And my Sahaba, if he comes after my wafat, after I leave this world, if he happens to come, please ask Uwais al-Qarni to pray for you, to seek forgiveness for you. Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advises his Sahaba. My youngsters, lovely ones, listen to this. What was so special about Uwais al-Qarni? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he prays to Allah and asks forgiveness for the Sahaba, for this beautiful, amazing group of Sahaba, Allah would have forgiven them. Yet the Prophet is asking the Sahaba, please request that Uwais al-Qarni to make dua for you. Now, Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, another prominent Sahaba like Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, they wait over 10 years, they went on waiting to see, to meet Uwais al-Qarni radiyallahu anhu, who will be coming from Yemen. So every time a delegate, a group of people come from Yemen to Medina, to Mecca to perform Hajj, Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu would look for those people from the community from Yemen and ask them, do you have a person whose name is Uwais al-Qarni? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had given some beautiful signs about him. Said that Uwais al-Qarni, he's got some skin disease known as leprosy. Now he was tested with it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala healed or cured all his skin disease except a space, a place of the size of a coin, a dirham. All other was fine. That is one side. Look for him. He's a very important person. He's so special. Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, every season when the Hajj comes, he will look for this person around 10 years. And he met him. Finally met him because people said, yes, we know someone who is so, his life is so simple. He's not interested in this material world too much. But we don't know if he's the right person that you're looking for. Then when they met Uwais, Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu asked him, are you Uwais? He said, I'm Abdullah. Ali radiyallahu anhu said, everyone is Abdullah. We all are Ibadullah, servants of Allah. We ask you, what is the name that your mom gave you? Uwais radiyallahu anhu was trying to hide his identity because he knew that if he tells them who he was, they would actually keep him and take care of him, provide him accommodation, high treatment. And he was not interested in. He was trying to hide his identity. So Ali radiallahu anhu says, no, we want to know the name that your mom gave you. Then he said, yes, I'm Uwais. Subhanallah. They hugged him and said, always make dua for us. He said, you are the closest to Sahaba who had so great opportunity to sit next to Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam and to hear from him. Me, I had never had that chance. Then Uwais radiallahu anhu, when he said like this, Umar said, always the Prophet of Allah has advised us, asked us to ask you to make dua for us. And what was the so special thing that Uwais did? It's a long story about Uwais radiallahu anhu. My lovely children, and others as well, each and every one of us, what made Uwais the leader of the Tabi'een, Sayyid al-Zuhada wa Ra'is al-Tabi'een, and gave him this great status because, my lovely brothers, what stopped him from coming to Medina and meeting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It was nothing, but he was busy taking care of his elderly mother. His mom was very old and sick, and there was none else to take care of him. So Uwais radiallahu anhu was busy looking after her. Subhanallah. That made Uwais radiallahu anhu such a special person. This is the reason, my believers, Ridallahi fi ridal walidain. Pleasure of Allah, it remains in the pleasure of our parents. So if our parents are pleased with us, our success in this world, in the next world, is guaranteed. On the other hand, if we hurt them, if we hurt their feelings, it is disastrous. No matter how great person you are in other areas, you pray your salah, you do zakah, everything. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, 6 times in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned about being caring for your parents or being good towards your parents, right next to being worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said that, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, 3 things will not be accepted without the 3 things. That if you obey Allah, but you fail to obey the Prophet of Allah, then that is useless. It's not going to help you. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول. You obey Allah and you obey His Messenger. You fail to obey His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then there is no point in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't make sense. أقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. Quran says, you establish your salah, you also give out your zakah. But if you do only one, you pray your salah but you don't give your zakah, it is pointless for you. Then Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, Quran in similar way, Quran says, Anishkur li wa liwalidayk. Thank me and thank your parents. And you manage to thank Allah, but you're not thanking your parents, you're not thankful to them, grateful to them, then that is pointless. Your thanks to Allah is not acceptable from you. So these are a very important thing for us to keep in mind. And remember, just like the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala depends on the pleasure of our parents, the wrath of Allah, the anger of Allah also depends on the anger of our parents. Habibuna Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إثنان يعجل الله عقوبتهما في هذه الدنيا. There are 2 things that definitely you will be punished for those 2 things in this world. All the sins, all the mistakes that we make will be punished on the Yawm al-Qiyam after the judgment, after Hisab. But these 2 things, you don't have to wait for its consequences to face. You don't have to wait for Yawm al-Qiyamah. You will face the consequence right in this world. إثنان يعجلهم الله. Allah will hasten, Allah will rush with its consequence in this world. Al-Bagh. Number 1 is when you oppress, when you do oppression to others, aggression to others, and that person prays against you, watch out. You don't have to wait for your qabr. Before you meet your qabr, you will have the qabr difficult life in this world if you have treated or unfairly done wrong to anyone. That is number one. Number two, وَعُقُوقُ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. Troubling your parents, disrespect your parents, being rude to your parents. You don't have to wait for your death. You will face the consequences right in this world, because that is one of the major sins, as the Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam counted. Al-Ishrak billah wa uquq al-walidayn, associating partner with Allah in one hadith. And then the next one the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam counted, that is troubling and disobeying your parents. My believers, the historian says, someone who is known to be Alqamah radiyallahu anhu was a Sahabi, but he failed to say kalimat shahada or the kalimat al-tayyiba la ilaha illallah as he was leaving this world. Despite that, the Sahaba tried their best to do the talqeen or to say that kalimat to him, but he refused. He couldn't say that because his mom was not happy with him. His mom had given a little bit of priority and preference to his wife. Now that made her hurt. He couldn't manage to get the pleasure of his mom completely. The result was catastrophic. It was so dangerous for him. So my believers, youngsters and others, always try to please your parents. Keep them always close to you. Now this is the cure, this is the medicine and treatment for all of us to achieve in this world. We will have great outstanding results in our studies. In our jobs we will progress. In our business, inshallah, if we have dua of our mom and dad. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be kind to our mom and dad just the way they've been very kind to us. I actually wanted to read a couple of ayat from the Quran. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so clearly about being kind, best treatment towards our